Matt, Ashley, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that former President Donald Trump is looking into starting his own political party and that he even already has a name for it, the Patriot Party. For decades, this polarizing wall in Lake Worth Beach has been a constant divider for citizens, both literally and figuratively. As we reported earlier this week, Steve and Nancy Iskowitz claimed their key fobs were deactivated in order to force them to quarantine inside their unit here for 2 weeks. I actually want to step away and show you this mural over my shoulder, the one that's been a topic of debate. It says unity with the prominent black historical figures right there. It was a painting that sparked the kind of controversy the wall was meant to avoid. Now, again, Dr. Schaffner tells me we already know what we need to do to stop the spread of this new mutated virus. It's social distancing, wearing masks, avoiding large crowds. Senizal says all of the doors on the bottom floor of his home were locked, and he was alerted about the possible intruder on his Ring doorbell camera.
Paxton, what's the likelihood of this happening?
Ashley, Terry, simply put, it's unlikely. Vice President Mike Pence and a majority of the president's cabinet members would have to sign a letter basically saying the president is unfit to perform his duties. Selena tells me she has one more round of donations to drop off at Wellington Regional Medical Center. She'll do that later this week before Christmas. Whatever the reason may be, millions of Americans are getting set to travel this holiday season, this despite warnings from health experts. Right now, it's too early to tell if President Biden's stimulus package will pass through Congress or how much of it. But if it does, the American Rescue Plan has a lot of proposals that would help people who were hurt by the pandemic. The FBI is warning of armed protests in all 50 state capitals, much like the one we saw in Kentucky just a few days ago. I spoke with officials from both Palm Beach Kennel Club and Greyhound Pet Adoption here in Southeast Florida, and both of them tell me the goal is to get as many of these dogs adopted as possible. Matt, Ashley, it's an industry that's been around for more than 100 years, but after being ignored for a while, sports cards are back and bigger than ever. For decades, this polarizing wall in Lake Worth Beach has been a constant divider for citizens, both literally and figuratively. And now, after becoming a frequent target for graffiti, it is once again the center of controversy.
This community for years has been neglected. And here, we've been working at this I've been here, like I said, for 10 years, and it's been a topic ever since I've been here.
Patrick Livingston has been an active member of the Lake Worth community for more than a decade.
Behind the wall used to be predominantly white folks that lived there.
And for as long as he can remember, this wall along Winfield Street has been a divisive topic among community members. Why has this wall become such a lightning rod of controversy?
Oh. That's a really good question. What is true is there were a lot of racial tension in this community. Now, that's true.
Residents say this wall was built in 1954 as a means of segregation to separate the community by race. Once African-American families began to settle on the other side of the wall,
they thought it would be nice to make it a unity wall. And that's when they came up with the idea of putting murals on there and be all-inclusive and not it representing what it used to represent in the past.
But tensions have flared as the wall, once covered in beautiful artwork and murals, was whitewashed in order to undergo repairs and eventually recreate the original mural, but instead continues to be a target for graffiti.
They wanted to tell more of a story of what this community is all about so that folks from all over, when they come over, they'll get the answers that you're asking me right now, because the wall will tell you what it was all about.
Livingston says those who continue to spray paint the wall are actually the ones slowing the process of restoring it.
Whoever is graffitiing this wall, I'm sure they don't know what's going on. And the only way they'll know, they'll have to get engaged, come down to the meeting, and then have their input. We'll welcome them.
Residents and officials tell me there will be a meeting here tonight in Lake Worth Beach to discuss where things currently stand with this wall and what measures will be taken moving forward. In Lake Worth Beach, I'm Paxton Boyd, CBS 12 News. I've covered sports for a lot of years, and I can tell you that mental health is something that not a lot of athletes like to talk about. So combine the pressure for student athletes to perform with balancing academics and a home life, and it can be pretty overwhelming.
Mental health, a lot of athletes go through it, really. They just don't really speak about it.
November 14th, 2019. One day before an important playoff game for the Palm Beach Lakes Rams, the team's star running back, Antonio Outler, went missing.
Immediately, you kind of think the worst. This is not Palm Beach, so we understand that there's a lot of violence in the community, things of that nature.
An assistant coach got a text from Antonio indicating he might hurt himself. So West Palm Beach police began searching for him. Hours later, the young man was found safe.
Once I, was able to talk to him, it was kind of like that woo-saw moment.
I felt like I had to remove myself.
Antonio, who just graduated, tells CBS 12 News at the time he didn't understand why he felt the way he did. Today, the 18-year-old is outspoken about the importance of mental health awareness.
A lot of people are scared of things they don't really know about. When you're very educated on the subject, you're not going to be scared about it at all.
Rams head coach Al Shipman says people don't realize how much pressure these players are under.
All they know is they show up on Friday nights and they're watching them, perform on the field. Some kids are trying to live up to something. Some kids are trying to make a better life for themselves.
Psychologist Jeff Gardier says all of that can sometimes feel like it's too much to handle.
We see them with the Friday night lights and, their center stage. We have to understand that they are not immune to what other kids go through with regard to having issues around mental health challenges, but also they are at extra risk, certainly, because they have to perform all the time.
I really learned how to balance it. Like, you can't let it stress you out. You got to know that the pressure is on, but you can't let the pressure stress. You can't break, you can't fold.
Today, Antonio is back on track. He's headed to the University of South Dakota. He says he's very excited to continue the next step of his career. In West Palm Beach, I'm Paxton Boyd, CBS 12 News.